Artists, like YouTubers, are well-respected creators within the TF2 community. And for good reason. They have the ability to open up Source Filmmaker or pick up a pencil or tablet pen and create amazing pieces for people. You have the ability to make money off of your artistic abilities and cheer people up with funny and cool drawings. They tend to also be serious about their work and stick to commissions that they are assigned. They're respectable, cool people that you would want to hang out with. However, not every artist is as good as the others, and I'm not talking about their abilities and style. I'm talking about their behavior. In this video, I'd like to talk about an artist known as Ubercharged Noodles, and how she has been manipulative on multiple accounts. Before I begin, I feel like I should talk about the point of this video. Yes, it is technically an expose video, but I'm not asking for a witch hunt or anything like that. I personally don't hate Noodles and want to burn her at the stake or anything like that. I do, however, hate her actions, and believes that she needs a wake-up call, and going public with this information is the only way that I think she can see that she needs to shape up. I say this because her friends have tried to help her time and time again to no avail. So let's try this new approach. Again, I don't want to throw Noodles out of the TF2 community and ruin her reputation. I simply think it's time for her to stop manipulating people and working towards changing herself. I'm going to start with some plain and obvious manipulation. This is just some basic lying, but throughout this video I'm going to talk about some specific instances of lying that go deeper and make more of an impact. This is some basic surface level stuff though. These first few snippets revolve around our good friend Mecharek. For this first bit, I'm going to take you a bit before Mecharek gets exposed, to a point where Noodles nearly ruined one of his friendships for literally no reason. So for these screenshots, have the mentality that Mecha is still a good guy for one moment. So there was a time where Mecha's server was raided by a guy called Mecha Elk, and Noodles' knee-jerk reaction is to go to Mecha and say that for no reason a friend of his was going to build up his trust and backstab him. A guy completely unrelated to this situation, other than he was an admin that was trying to protect the server, was going to build up Mecha's trust and backstab him. She goes to Mecha and lies about this for no reason. There was no rhyme or reason for her to do this, and she did it anyway. Now let's get a bit more modern for this next part. This screenshot takes place when Darty's video was first making rounds in the community. Noodles is talking with this individual, Ghostly, and he throws her into the loop that Mecha has been exposed as a pedophile. Noodles decides to just deny this information. She just deflects the idea that Mecha could be a pedophile. However, once the video starts getting some views, Noodles seems to do a 180 and be completely against Mecharek. She makes an entire meme praising Doomsday, even though Darty was the one that made the video, and makes this meme that depicts Mecharek in jail. But wait, there's more, as she has been secretly talking to him on Discord. Adam is Mecharek's first name, and this is his alternate Discord account so that he can keep in touch with his friends. Man, you really hate how Mecharek used you. You guys seem like you're on good terms though. One thing Noodles has also done before is say something about how she'll try to have killed herself, or is suicidal. She's just casually pinged her server before and told them, hey, this bad thing happens and I'm feeling suicidal. She's mentioned how she's apparently tried to before, but it's all a lie. Especially when you take into account that this first screenshot is also her turning on Mecharek and apparently feeling suicidal about his actions. Noodles loves to guilt trip people. In this first example, she's referring to Darty, and how apparently he ruins Noodles' friendships. Quite ironic since you nearly did that, but I digress. Noodles gets super dramatic, talking about he will have his way again, and making it seem like things always go wrong for her. In this next example, she's talking to Ghostly, who modded a competitive stream event. He's talking to Noodles because she decided to go and attack a medic player that was going to be playing in stream. She tells him that, yeah, what she did is wrong, but she just didn't want to be alone for 2 hours. Her best friend and boyfriend got to be in the stream, so why not her? She just hates to be alone. It's best not to stay in the past though, because she can't focus on changing if people only focus on the past. This is also a good time to transition into the next segment of this video.
I was 12 years old. Off the fence. Shotgun. 12 gauge. 6 bullets.
So there's a certain story that Noodles has of her traumatic past. I'll tell you the story based on what she's been saying. This story happened about 5 or 6 years ago in Pennsylvania. Noodles was not like your average 12-year-old, as she was more independent. That's an important detail for later, but for now take note that she had an older friend. Well, she found out one day that this older friend was a heroin addict. She knew that heroin was bad and decided to try and help her friend by taking away their needles. This friend grew angry and held her at gunpoint. So there's a struggle and Noodles grabs a nearby 12-gauge shotgun. The guy lunges at her and she shoots him 6 times in self-defense. She was admitted to a mental institution since she lacked emotion after the event, and for 2 to 3 months she lived without expressing any sort of emotion. Now that sounds like a pretty scarring event, right? That's really gonna mess a person up. Well, the problem is that it's false. Nearly every time she's told this story to someone, they look up information about the story and find nothing. Keep in mind, by the way, that unless you're like a payday heister, you don't just cover up the murder of a heroin addict as a 12-year-old. Surely some sort of news article was written about the event. But nope, the mental institution she was apparently admitted to doesn't exist either, or at least records for it don't exist. Whenever Noodles is presented with this fact, she freaks out and says she swears this all happened. Now I'm going to look at it in two ways. The first way is giving her the benefit of the doubt, sort of. I believe it's possible Noodles might have some sort of mental health issue that seems to make her truly believe that this traumatic incident occurred. If that is the case, then please seek therapy, Noodles. You need to learn to let go of this story, as there is no benefit to telling it over and over if it clearly didn't happen. The other way of looking at it is that she's using it to manipulate people. Think about it. Why would you want a traumatic incident like this to be real? You think you would be happy knowing that this never happened, right? Well, it's possible that Noodles knows what she's doing. She knows it's fake, but she's simply freaking out in order to show people, hey look, I'm screwed up and have issues because I actually believe that I killed a heroin addict when I was 12. To put simply, I think she uses this story as emotional manipulation. The event she describes sounds pretty traumatic, and when she finds out that her story is somehow false, she begins to freak out. And this could be used to convince people that she's had it rough in life. I'd also like to point out a couple of times that she has told this story to people. The first instance is this audio clip of her in a Discord chat with some folks that are playing Minecraft.
I was 12 years old. Off the fence, shotgun, 12 gauge, 6 bullets.
You see this like this is an exciting, cool, like landmark event in your life. That's.
It was. I was mentally unstable for 2 to 3 months in an asylum after the situation.
She tries to make it seem like this story is meant to highlight one of the best moments in her life, as if this story is one of the greatest things to happen to her. For the second instance, she's talking to Ghostly after he's telling her to stop attacking one of the players in a competitive stream event. Now I already did talk about this in a previous section, but I didn't cover the whole story. See, she told Ghostly this story while talking about how she's afraid that everyone she knows and trusts might end up just hurting her in the end. The way she tells him about this experience is more mellow and dramatic. It's not like this was an exciting and likable event for her. The difference between these two incidents is nothing to ignore. Why would she tell the story like it's something enjoyable to random guys playing Minecraft, but to Ghostly make it seem like it was a traumatic event? Just some food for thought. So Noodles is a hypocrite sometimes as well. Sometimes Noodles will trace over meme images, and I guess that would be fine if not for the fact that she once tried to call someone out for practicing by coloring over a Kirby. This person just did a sort of recolor thing on a Kirby image, and Noodles goes all out on this guy, just full blasting him. Yet, here she is doing the exact same thing with memes.
Before any of you say, oh, but she's just drawing memes, keep in mind that 1. She's looking for validation from these images. 2. She's posting them publicly like this guy, and 3. She's literally coloring over pre-made material like him. Do not try and excuse this hypocrite.
God, look how cool she is calling out a disgusting tracer, guys. I also think it's a good time to talk about that tracing thing a bit more. So there's a theory that Noodles has traced art before. Now like I say, with more meme images it's apparent, but let's talk about some of her more serious art. First off, these two images right here are some of her art. Take note of her art style in these images. Now I want you to take a look at these images right here. Apparently she drew these images, despite the clear differences in their art styles. What else is interesting is the fact that a finished piece of art that she apparently drew has a watermark over it. Again, it's not confirmed, but it is a theory that has been talked about before. On the topic of art-related business, let's talk about the fact that she's scammed people before. This screenshot was sent by an anonymous individual that had unfortunately been scammed out of his keys since Noodles spent the money without actually completing the art. This individual tried to have her get his keys back, but this is what she responded with. I am doing my best to get the keys back, but number 1, I am 15 and don't have a job. Yeah, but not a lot of places will hire a 15-year-old. But what do you even need money for at 15 anyway? Number 2, I barely have money in general. She's clearly getting angry and saying this to make him feel bad for rushing her on getting his money back. Boo-hoo, you don't have a lot of money in general. Now if she's talking about her family not having any money, it'd be a slightly different story, but I'm pretty sure she just means that she doesn't have money. And number 3, I have a life. Please be patient. I'm having quality time with my girlfriend. You're interrupting. Yeah, never mind you're pretty much stealing money from this guy. You're having quality time at the moment and you have a life. It doesn't matter that you spent the money that a guy gave you after you said you were going to do art for him. Let's also read how this guy had responded to her. Okay, I'm sorry, but the thing is you barely update me or reply sometimes. If you were to personally message me about the keys when I asked you, that would have been different. It would have been fine. If you're with your GF, that's fine too. I'm sorry for interrupting. You know what? Just forget the keys, let's just leave it. I don't want to stress either of us over it, let's just leave it. Consider it an early birthday present. Okay, so technically yes, it isn't scamming exactly, but let's keep in mind that this guy had commissioned her and she never replied or updated him. Not just on the keys, but on the art as well. Then comes the time where he's like, I want a refund, and she's apparently already spent the keys, or money from the keys, on something. She didn't do the art first, she just seems to have taken the keys and ran. Now here she is, making excuses as to why she can't pay this guy back, through guilt tripping or the fact that she has a life. God, just leave her alone, you scumbag. Ugh, I can't believe this man. So yeah, Noodles is a manipulator. Once again, I would like to say that I don't want to throw Noodles out of the TF2 community or just completely destroy her reputation. But at the same time, you can't just keep going around and manipulating people like this. You also shouldn't be doing commissions if apparently you have so much of a life that you can't even do them in the first place. You need to shape up and stop blaming your actions on fake events from your traumatic past that you have a life, or whatever excuse you want to make your actions seem justified or at least reasonable. Regardless of all that, please do not attack Ubercharged Noodles, as once again that's not the point. Thank you all for watching and understanding. I'll see you in the next video.